Hey everyone, Leaf here. Today I want to talk to you about some action cameras. So, what do we have to compare with? Well, let's start off with the gold standard GoPro Hero 2. And the competitor, which I got off eBay for a whopping $35, is the LightDow LD4000. Can this hold its mustard against the GoPro, the one that everybody knows, everyone that everybody loves? Let's find out. Okay, so getting started, we'll talk about the GoPro. Now, why am I picking a Hero 2? Well, this LightDow LD4000 that I found on Amazon for $35 records at a maximum of 30 frames a second at 1080 resolution. The GoPro Hero 2 also records at a maximum of 30 frames a second at 1080 resolution. So, I want to make sure we're comparing apples to apples here. Yes, I could have found a Hero 6 or a Hero 5, which records at 4K, but that's not exactly a fair comparison because obviously if this can't do 4K, it's not going to be as good. What it can do is 1080 at 30 frames a second, which is a lot better than many of the other very, very cheap action cameras that I found on Amazon. Most of them, they'll do 1080 resolution. They're advertised full HD 1080 resolution, but when you look into the nitty-gritty details, it's only 15 frames a second, and that just doesn't cut it. Unless you're dealing with an old Disney, or one of the old animated cartoons, which are at 12 frames a second, yeah, then this is going to be one up on it with higher resolution but the same frame rate. But that's not what we're looking for. We want actual, regular, cinematic frame rates. So, we both have 30 frames a second. They both have wide field of vision. They're both roughly the same form factor. As you can see, the LightDow is a little thinner, but they're roughly the same height, basically the same width. So, can the $35 action camera hold its mustard against the regular GoPro? I don't know, but we're going to find out.
Alright, so this is the first test, just a straight up audio comparison. Now, yeah, we'll be able to see the video as well. We've got the Hero 2 on my right, which is your left, and the LightDow is sitting on my left, which is your right. Now I'll switch back and forth to the audio, so here you're listening to me speak on the Hero 2, and here you're listening to me speak on the LightDow, so see how the audio is doing, because both of these are probably going to be going in their cases. They don't really have a good external mount, or at least I don't have a mount for the Hero 2 that will allow me to record with it out of the case. So this is the audio test. The rest is just going to be straight up video coming out to you from inside the boxes. Alright, so we're going to give this a shot with some skiing now. See how it looks while you're going from light to dark, and see how it does with all the reflection off the snow.
Alright, so after going through the video, I found a few things about the cameras. First of all, The focal range is a little bit different between the cheap one and the regular GoPro. So it's not a huge difference. So you only really notice it when you're comparing them side by side. That's how you can tell that one you have a slightly wider field of vision with the GoPro than the cheap one. It's really not a major difference. Just like 3% maybe was about all the difference I could find. There's a noticeable blue tint to all the footage that comes off this camera. So if you're just doing your regular video shoot, you're not going to be doing any editing, and this, whatever you shoot is what you're going to publish, you're going to notice that you get a lot more blue out of this one. Now, I think the lens just has a bias to the blue color. Now, I did have everything set on auto, the exposure, the white balance, so you could probably change it a little bit if you adjust the white balance rather than leaving it to auto, but if you're just shooting on auto, you will find a noticeable blue tint. Whereas the GoPro, it has a lot flatter color. The colors are all a lot more muted, which is really good for video editing because you have all the a lot more information in it, and it's a lot easier to color grade after. I noticed between the two cameras, the GoPro, it fits nicely in the case. With this one, I've got a piece of paper shoved in the back on the side to shim it up. It's a little bit sloppy in the case, and it came with a lot of other hardware. You've got zip ties, extra battery, other connectors. In fact, all the connectors on here came from the case with the exception of one. Velcro ties, you got the brackets, you've got a steel cable with a couple extra adhesive tabs, an extra back in case it gets lost or broken, which is a nice touch because actually cameras are meant to take a beating, cleaning cloth, and of course your manual. Something you need even if you're not sure whether you're actually going to read it or not. It's good to have. Information in it, not necessarily the best, but it's a very simple camera. My opinion overall, the camera actually shoots fairly well. I was actually really surprised. I thought the picture was probably going to be grainy, wasn't going to like how it looks, but overall it's not too bad for a $35 camera. My one big gripe about all the accessories though, while they look like GoPro accessories, common accessory standard sizes, they are sloppy. So as you can see, I have paper shoved in here just to shim it out enough so when I put the pieces together, tighten it down, it stayed tight and didn't flop around. So like right now it's nice and tight, but this one I don't have it and it's sort of sticky, but you can see on these ones they flop back and forth. It's not very tight. So if you're going to use the hardware that came with it, you may find you have to do a little bit of adjusting to make it fit properly. Also, the bolts that are in for the connectors are a little on the short side, so there really isn't a whole lot that you have to bite in on. Again, you're spending $35 on the whole kit, so obviously there's going to be some shortcomings. If you get the actual GoPro hardware, accessories, or even the higher end aftermarket parts, they're going to match up pretty well. So this isn't the end of the world. You can always go out and buy better ones, and a lot of the time they're not going to be all that much more. So if you're looking for just a GoPro disposable action camera, something that you just want to spend a few bucks on, not going to really be too concerned if it gets wrecked, because you're going to be putting it into some really harsh conditions more so than you normally would, this was not a bad idea. Definitely worth a look into. If you're looking for just a cheap action camera on Amazon, do your research. Make sure when it says full 1080, full HD, make sure it's 30 frames a second, not 15. Make sure that all the features are what you're actually looking for. They aren't all very well advertised all the time, so take a careful look as you're going through the description, look at the reviews, make sure that you are getting what you're expecting. But if you're willing to spend the time, there's definitely some good stuff you can find on Amazon for fairly cheap. So, till next time, have a good one, and we'll see what we come up with next.